Christopher Von Dam here with Liquid Gold Honey. And, you know, so some of our customers, and I maybe mentioned this before in another video, that have come to our booth, some time ago and said, we have been to many places and you have the best honey in the galaxy. So, and I was like, wow, I'll take that as a compliment. And I think I said this story once before, but I'll just say it again. And so what sort of hit it home for me a little bit was when this couple would come to the market and meet with me, and we would resonate so much that they would kind of hang out at the booth and they would watch the interactions with the customers and they'd say, wow, you have a very special mission here. So and they saw the bee pollen concentrate because they would get it for themselves and they would purchase it and they would feel these extraordinary benefits. And it's like, wow, there's really nothing else like this anywhere. And 726 nutrients, highest frequency food on the planet. So then one day, it was early in the morning, they were at the market with me. It was just getting started. And they said, we're going to help you. So they would come back behind because they give you a very special mission. You want to help. So they would come back behind the booth. And so then these people, groups of people would walk in front of the booth at a farmer's market, like that's how it works. And these people came over and the guy that was helping, he walked out to these people and handed them a jar of the bee pollen concentrate and they looked at it and they gave him the money and they walked away. And I said to the guy, did you know those people? And he said, no. I've never met them before. And not one word was said.
No words.
So, and I looked at them and I looked at him and I put it together that this whole exchange was 100% telepathic. And he sold them the bee pollen concentrate that he's been eating and I eat and we eat 100% telepathically. Never seen them before. No words were said. They gave us whatever, the money and they paid and they walked away. And I guess he said in his own way, maybe with light language or another type of telepathic communication, where you need this product, it will help you, and I take it and it helps me. And so it's pretty special. We highly recommend the bee pollen concentrate. If you're going to get anything from us, I mean, that's one of the most highly recommended products. Of course, then we have a super concentrated batch of that, which we call Triple X, which is 100 times the concentration of the bee pollen concentrate, bee pollen granules with royal jelly, which is the white milky substance the bees produce. The queen is the only bee that eats it her entire life. She lives approximately 50 times longer than all the other bees. And then a liquefied form of propolis, which is the strongest naturally occurring antibiotic known to man. So we put all of that in one container, call it Triple X. That is also for sale on our website at liquidgold.store. Also at Liquid Gold Honey with 2 Y's on the end at Instagram, and there's an Instagram shop now and even TikTok shop. So you can go there, check out our cool and unusual content there and get uplifted frequencies. And something we started doing is filming the bees live just to get this frequency. So I was actually like 2 nights this past week, I think in our YouTube channel, which is Liquid Gold Honey, there's at least 2 longer videos of more or less than an hour. And it was like the end of the day. It's been a long day. And I was thinking, well, what do I want to watch online? Because I got rid of my TV years ago. And, nothing, there's really no content out there that I wanted to watch. So then I thought, wait a minute, we have this live video of the bees close up and the frequency. And that, like at least 2 nights this past week, was my top choice of relaxing, just watching this video. Because honestly, sometimes I would rather watch bees than humans because, they're never lying, number one. They're always honest. And they're emitting this beautiful frequency. And it's uplifting and it's relaxing and it's meditative and it's therapeutic. And so I just laid there listening and watching the bees and kind of just being mesmerized and meditating and zoning out. And I fell asleep, 2 nights this past week just watching this content of this live footage of the bees, and it's just so special. And I'm thinking, geez, honestly, I think we need to make more of these videos because I personally want to watch and listen to and just be mesmerized and kind of just zone out with the bees and just get the frequency, get the bee vibe.
Yeah.
Because in a way, they're even higher frequency than us. And, I was watching like the one video last night, the one bee was sitting, because it's summertime and it's, at least in the northern hemisphere of Earth, and the one bee was flapping her wings so fast to cool the hive, the entrance, the inner part of the hive, to help the bees doing what the bees do, that you could barely see. Like, unless you look very closely, you couldn't even see how the wings, because they were moving so fast. So, I have a trained eye for this, so I could see what it was doing. And because it looks like it's just sitting there, the bee, but no, she was moving her wings so fast you could barely see it. But she had a very special purpose. She was cooling the hive, and there's other bees that they just know what to do. When it's a hot, like super hot day, in Florida, they are cooling the hive. And they all help each other. And some bees are foraging, visiting the flowers and bringing in the pollen and bringing in the nectar. And then there's some bees on the inside that are nursing the babies. And then the queen will, on average, lay between 1,500 to 2,000 eggs per day. So that's a lot of eggs. And there are nurse bees that's their only job, is to take care of these eggs, take care of the larvae, take care of the young little bees, when they're hatching, and they're the nurse bees. So, and then there's the
It's so
drone
cooperative.
bees. Yeah, I know. They're so special. They work like together in pure harmony.
I
And I
imagine like
envy.
listening to that is incredible. You know,
Oh my God.
you're not saying words that we understand, but they're emitting that total cooperation, love.
Yes. Right. So I'm envisioning that we're all getting to the point where we all work together as one, in harmony. All of us. Like the bees. So they're kind of like, in that sense, more advanced than us. So they're kind of like our role model. They show us how it is to perfectly work together. You don't ever hurt anyone. You only help everyone. You only uplift everyone. You're just there for the greater good of the one. And essentially, everyone watching this and that will ever watch this, I am you and you are me and we are one. And you're different aspects of me and I'm different aspects of you. And just remembering this and in the back of our mind, knowing this, it's really special. And I think it helps us with our interactions on this planet and probably beyond, because we really can say, you know what, this person may look like, different or strange, but they're just a part of me that is different. And maybe, what could be construed as a strange part of me.
Yeah.
Because I might have some unusual parts of me that some people say, hey, that's a little bit different. But that's just a different part of me. So we're kind of from the same, whatever, octopus and just different tentacles, or, the same light source, and we're all just little different rays. Although we all are from the same source, and essentially we are all one. So just knowing this it's pretty special. Seems like the bees have figured it out and they're living it. And I think that they're great role models that we really all can. And they show us that it can be done. So,
Yeah, I
I mean, I
agree.
was thinking,
I think that we break down a lot of walls when we start to remember that. remember that we're
Yeah, I know.
what's behind the eyes or what's inside the energy, wherever it lies, it's the same source. And
The oneness.
we can start to drop
Yes.
judgments. And then if we don't have those judgments, then there's not going to be that many walls that are in between
Yeah.
helping each other. And yeah, the bees have got it right. I always love the idea that we see um, what we have most critical in ourselves, we see it like it's like a glowing red glare in other people. So if I'm
Oh,
critical of
yeah.
someone because of a certain reason, it's because I'm super critical of myself in that. So that's how we see ourselves in other people, with their quote unquote flaws or their imperfections. It's like those are, as we know, a great part of our life, our lifestyle. Like as a teacher, it's
Right. It's the beauty, like how the Japanese have the ancient tradition of if you chip or crack an ancient vase, you
mm,
fill the crack with gold so that it's actually even more valuable now that, it was cracked. The cracked is filled with gold, or a way that I like to look at it, that crack is filled with love. So the love that is in all of us sort of connects each piece of us is the love. And I think the love starts with self love. I think it starts with the love of ourself, so that the more we do love ourselves, the more that we can love and accept everyone. So I think it all starts, with practicing daily self love. Like, what do I do today to care for myself? And it could just be number one, waking up. It could be eating right. It could be stretching. It could be, just going out in nature. So I think connecting with nature also helps to, it's one of the biggest things,
yeah,
grounding, connecting with the animals. And it helps us to remember. So and animals are so special, including the trees and the plants, like what we were talking about, each of us have cool plants in our house, and the plants are totally high frequency. And when you have them in different parts of the house, they actually communicate with each other. And because they're always emitting like beautiful harmonics and frequencies, and talking to each other and communing and harmoning, that it uplifts us because we live in a space that we're in the center of that. So not only do plants literally protect you from like 5G, from radiation, probably other types of negative energy, they actually absorb it.
yeah, they can.
And not only that, when we're in the middle of all these plants in our domain or dwelling, they are emitting on the interior all of this beautiful uplifting, high frequencies into us,
It's like a fractal.
uplifting us.
It's a fractal. I
Yeah,
think
even taking negativity.
carbon dioxide and the oxygen, that exchange, I think it
There you
also
go.
exists on an energetic level. Yeah,
Yes, absolutely. And like physiological, right? So it gives us more oxygen, which uplifts us more. The Chinese call like the oxygen chi. There's a master, that I have from China doing qigong, and he would explain that there's always invisible bubbles coming up from the earth, and sometimes Mother Earth or Mother Gaia at certain times of the day emits more of these invisible bubbles, which the Chinese call qi. Indians might call prana, and it gives us energy. It gives us strength. It gives us health. It gives us vitality. So there's extra benefits to doing or being outside in nature, or doing qigong at certain times of the day, breathing in deep outside, preferably with our shoes off, connected directly to the ground, grounding at certain times of the day. It's even more powerful than others. Definitely going out in nature, being around animals. They
yeah,
even say cats absorb negative energy, or they know how to transmute it.
yeah.
They're very good at transmuting, so that they'll take someone's negativity and then turn it around and actually make it positive. Or at least just neutral. But
Subconsciously, I'm sure, that's their programming. Like if you have a companion and you're going through a rough time, they're going to sort of take that on with you.
right, it helped to take it from you.
Yeah, comforting. They kind of fill. I feel like they fill that void. I've had that with my cat. I'm sure everyone's had that where it's like,
Oh,
you
cool.
came at the right time, buddy. Like, you know,
I
give,
know, like they know what to do.
yeah.
Like even the Egyptians, they revered cats
Have you ever?
as sacred.
Have you ever seen the eyes of cats? There was this thing about it where, I mean, the eyes of cats are actually, um, they don't resemble the eyes of like lions and tigers. Lions and tigers have the that circle, and the cats have the
It's
round.
like a slit.
It's like a more of a reptilian.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I don't know what that means, but it's
Yeah, it's also um interesting that there are so many different forms of cats on this planet, from like you were saying, lions to tigers to
mm,
house cats to mountain lions. There's so many. I mean, on that note, like you were saying, just like you mentioned reptilians. I mean, there's so many different types of iguanas or lizards
yeah.
or alligators or crocodiles. So, it's kind of interesting to, look at the animal kingdom. I mean, some people might look at praying mantises, and there's a species out there. Some people might call insectoids or ant people, which there's reports that on the inside of this planet, there's many different, species, because there's living in hollowed out lava tubes that are people just like you and I that moved down there 10, 15,000 years ago and made homes because, well, there said there was a cataclysm on the planet, and the Hopi Indian tribe and some other tribes still tell the stories to this day. And there's hieroglyphs that these beings came up when there was a huge cataclysm going on the surface and brought them inside of the planet. They said, you know what? You need to be inside of here to keep you
Okay.
safe
Yeah, the good guy.
while this is going on the surface.
Hmm.
And they lived there for generations. And that's what the stories say, is that after the generations of these cataclysms settle down on the surface, then this species, whether they might have been insectoids, some people call them ant people or whatever they were, which are friendly, brought them back to the surface, the humanoids, and showed them, or retaught them how to grow plants so they could start farming again. And they're very benevolent in that sense. At least that's what the reports
Maybe they
are
look different.
showing and saying.
I think they look different, right? There's a lot of different species out there, and as we learn how to befriend our own species and the difference within our own human species, then I think that we earn the right to be a all-inclusive organization.
Ah,
I think that
mm.
if we can't get along ourselves at an individual level, then it's going to be really hard to get along with an ant person, which I think we should. I think we should figure that out.
And I think you said it right, where it's on an individual basis,
Yeah.
because some people say the ascension is on an individual basis, or along those lines, different people wake up at different times. Similarly to a fruit on a tree, like all the fruits don't get ripe all at once. They all get ripe at different times. So it's kind of an individual journey. So now that this planet and this solar system is moving through the photon belt in the galaxy, everything's vibrating much more rapidly. So people are starting to wake up faster and faster and faster and ask more questions. And I believe that people are starting to be nicer. People that are spiritual are getting even more spiritual, or blissed out, or meditating more, or connecting more with nature. And, there could be some people on the other end of that spectrum that are negative or angry, that could be having a more difficult time because of, like we were talking about previously, there's sort of an amplification of things going on.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that may not be willing to accept, a higher frequency, or they're stuck watching the news, or they're
Stuck in lower
whatever is,
vibrations. They're stuck in a lower.
yeah, and they might not want to change, or they might not be ready, and they might choose to take early exit points, or their body may not be possible in that physical form to be upgraded by this energy that is coming into the planet, and they may have sudden deaths. And there could be many of that. You might know some individuals, and it could be through any means that occurred, and it just might not. The new Earth frequency might not be for them, and their mission may have been completed just by their presence, and they might be off on to the next experience, either in the Milky Way or, who knows, in another realm or world.
The soul,
So,
the soul's journey.
yeah, different journey, throughout the universe. So anyway, I find it to be fascinating, and I do believe that we all came here for a purpose. That's why I believe that we chose to come here to do something, even if it's just to be present. And even if it's just to relax because you had a busy life, the last life, it was really busy doing whatever you were doing, wherever you were. Some people are just here to just chill. Some people are here there's almost infinite missions. So I believe that everybody did come here, though, for a reason. So, everybody has a different lifespan, and there's different missions and purposes for all of us. Although if you're here, you have a purpose. There's no mistakes. So anyway, it's kind of gratifying just to know that you do have a purpose. You're here for a reason. Because some people could, with everything going on in the world right now, some people might say, well, you know what? I don't feel like I have a purpose, or I don't know what my purpose is. So maybe you just haven't figured out what it is. But there's no mistakes in the universe. If you're here for a reason.
All in due time. Everything that's before us is a obstacle so that we can learn how to fill those holes in ourselves to move forward. Everything is an obstacle and a catalyst. Yeah.
And remembering. That's a big thing. It's all
I'm so
we
like fascinated with awakening, like, as I know you are, awakening the world, right? And I think the fastest way to do that is to awaken ourselves brutally. Brutal honesty,
see,
brutal.
I agree with you there. And I wish everybody agreed with us, because some people or individuals in power
Yeah,
want a soft landing, or they don't think that people, like if somebody's sleeping, they don't think they should just throw a bucket of ice water on them to like wake them up instantly. They think the slow, gradual wake up is better. Although, I mean, I agree with you. Just get it over with. And if it's a shock at first, just be in shock. And then, research shows that within 90 days, you'll get over it. At least over 85% of people that were in shock of something that was highly unusual for getting information, they're getting over it, within more or less than 90 days.
more
So I
power,
think most people would get over it, and then
power.
they accept it. They get into acceptance, and then they just move on with their life with this new information. And who knows, maybe other species on our planet, because the travel embargo has been opened, which they're talking about opening the travel embargo on Earth so that the other species can come here
That's
and
a pretty
potentially.
amazing. That's a pretty amazing topic.